Hi, I'm Martin from Multipipe, and today we're going to talk about the simplicity of changing manifold actuator pins. Now, I appreciate you've been out to many jobs before and you've identified you've got a leaking manifold pin, and it's so simple to change that particular pin. Now, it's important you get the right pin. Lots of different manufacturers out there will do different pin qualities and different pin assemblies with variable stroke lengths. So today we're going to change this Multipipe manifold pin. Very simple and easy process. First thing to start off with realistically is to isolate the manifold. What I mean by that is by turning all the thermostats down, and electrically we're going to lose the demand on the manifold for heat. So we turn all the thermostats down, which should stop the underfloor heating pump and close the zone valve. Now, on some installations you will have actuators fitted, and that particular actuator would need to be removed so you can work on the manifold pin. But on this installation it's a single zone and there's no actuators fitted. Quick tip there really, if you do remove multiple actuators, always number or label which port you've taken them off. And for me, if this is on port number 1, I'd label the actuator number 1 so I know to position it back on the right port afterwards. So to start the pin removal, we need to isolate the manifold, and on this Multipipe manifold then we've got some isolation valves top and bottom here, and we're just going to then isolate the manifold, turn off the manifold here to allow us to work on the system. We don't have to drain the rest of the heating system down. We're going to isolate the manifold and we're going to depressurize the manifold using the fill and vent ports at the end here. Now for me, I'm just going to use a simple bucket and a washing machine hose. Why? Because the washing machine hose allows you to connect on to the assembly afterwards. Take off the fill and vent key at the bottom here, attach the hose to the fill and vent port, just has to be finger tight on there, and then we're just going to use the key then to open up the fill and vent port and depressurize the manifold. So once the manifold's depressurized, we're just going to remove this isolation cap and remove the manifold pin. And again, there's different ways you can do this. Simply, if you've got an adjustable spanner, you can use that on top and open and remove the manifold pin. Or for me, for simplicity, I just use a socket set. I find it grips hold of the pin much better. So pop your socket set on the top there, move it to open, and then squeeze it off. And we can simply then remove the manifold pin. Check that the new item that you're going to put in is exactly the same scope, same stroke length, and also the same thread pattern, which this one is. Inserting back into the return manifold there. There's no requirement for PTFE or any other lubricants there because there's an O-ring seal. We're going to tighten that back up on there. Close off the fill and vent port underneath and remove our hose pipe. Once we're happy with that, we can reintroduce the manifold and repressurize the manifold. So we're going to turn back on the isolation valves and then just vent the ports on the manifold using the little vent port on the top here. We'll do the flow on the top header as well. Yep, we've got water there, pleased to say. Just dry those off. So we've changed the manifold pin, we've reintroduced the flow and return headers back on the top there, and we've vented the manifold. Now, depending on what heating system you've got, if it's an open vent system, your header tank will replace the system. It's a sealed system with a filling loop, you may have to repressurize back at your boiler to just make sure you haven't lost any pressure on your heating system. And then once you've finished, reintroduce your cap or your actuator for that particular zone, turn on your control, and away you go. Thanks for watching. See you again next time.